Hey, what's going on, people, and welcome to another episode of Riley's Talk, but more specifically, my 2 cents. So I got a good show for y'all today. We're gonna cover 2 topics here real quickly. One you may have seen or heard about. Definitely you should have if you're on social media type stuff. The other one, maybe not. So the first one is a young lady is upset at her baby daddy because he brings his son every day, McDonald's, and does not bring her kids in McDonald's, the other 2 or 3 kids that she may have. So she's highly upset about it. And the other one's the R. Kelly issue. We probably already seen that. If you haven't seen it already, yeah. They booked your boy for 30 years. He's done. I think R. Kelly is already in his early 50s. He wouldn't get out until he's in his 80s. He's done. So, but as always, if you like my channel, if you like my videos, do me a favor. Hit the like and subscribe button. As always. So, let's get right into it. So, we're going to head to the most non-pertinent news already, and that's the the young lady. It's hard to explain it, but long story short is that, again, she is upset at her baby daddy because he brings McDonald's every day. I don't know if it's 5 days a week or 7 days a week, but he brings McDonald's every day to his son and does not bring anything else for her 2 or 3 other kids that she may have, maybe even 4. I watched the video, but I kind of just skimmed through it. But it's been the focal point of social media for about the past 3 or 4 days here and there. And here is my 2 cents on that video. It's staged. When I first saw it, that's why I couldn't watch it, because it came off as extremely staged. She's already outside waiting on him to show up. Now, I get it. We got cell phones and, they on their way, what have you. We got those things that's going on. But it just came off as entirely too staged. So, but let's pretend for one moment that it's real. So, the baby daddy shows up every day with, some McDonald's for his son. Does not bring anything for her sons or daughters, what have you. And everybody has their opinion about it. So here's my 2 cents. Like I say, it's already staged. But reason why I have not really been vocal about this one, because men are going to do 1 or 2 things in this situation. Maybe 3, but the third one I'm not even going to get into. 1 or 2 things. They're either A, going to bring food for everybody. That's what they're going to do. Bring food for everybody. So there's no animosity. There's no what have you. Or B, the most likely option is that they're going to take their child. They're going to ride the block for a hot second while his son eats his meal. Father and son gets not daddy daughter. I have a daughter. But not daddy daughter time, but daddy son time. He gets the bond with his child. What have you. That's what most men are going to do. But this video went off the chain. So she's showing up outside real quickly. She got the camera going, and he's about, I guess in the video, he's about 30 seconds away, give or take. So she kind of comes out real quickly. You wrong, blah, blah, blah. And again, everybody has their opinion about it. Everybody does. I've seen a lot of videos that say, okay, you should bring, all the kids food. That's wrong, blah, blah, blah. Then I've seen the other side of it. At the end of the day, that's not your kid. You don't have to be worried about them. That's on the mom. I fucks with both sides of the argument. I really do. So, moms, those are your kids. You are responsible for feeding them. That man is only responsible for feeding his child. That's all he is responsible for. Everything else, through the noise that we hear about it's irrelevant. He's only responsible for feeding his child. Anything else that he may do about your other kids is just generosity. But some people have taken this thing called generosity or being nice or being what have you as a you're supposed to do that. No. Plenty of men don't do that, and they're not wrong for that. At the same time, I also think he's bogus. If this story is true, again, I keep saying it's fake. It's fake 100%. But you can't show up every day, bro, with McDonald's. I grew up as a McDonald's kid where we had the Happy Meal. I haven't seen any of these things lately, to be honest with you, with the Happy Meals. But in my generation, McDonald's was the place to go because not only did you have a Happy Meal, but you had the little jungle gym outside, you had the milkshakes, you had a few other things. McDonald's where it was, parties were thrown at. I don't know how much parents spent back in those days in the 80s and the 90s, but this is where parties were thrown at McDonald's. And it was what it was. Nobody asked any questions, what have you. Yeah, bro, you bogus for just only bringing your child money. So yeah, bro, you are somewhat bogus because at the end of the day, you know how this situation goes, bro. Especially if you're a grown man, you know how the situation goes. You can't show up at your baby mama's house, her crib, what have you, and not expecting her. Let's go back for a second. You're not expecting his siblings to get a little bit upset. They want the McDonald's too. So if you really feel some type of way about not feeding her kids, leaving it to the other baby daddies, what have you, I'm fine with that. That's kind of by a motto that I live by personally. But I'm fine with that. But you can't do this every day and just bringing your son, your child, food and not expecting this to be an issue. Now, back to where I say that I think this is fake. Nobody cooks. I cook a little bit. I'm not going to say I'm the grand gourmet chef of anything, but nobody cooks every day, bruh. Every day you go and get McDonald's. And moms, you're not innocent in this. So moms, you ain't said, you know what, today my son is good. You know, you can bring some money by. You can stop by and see your son, but he don't already ate. You know, this is, again, I'm going to keep harping about this. This is why I think it's fake. So let's backtrack real quickly. In my opinion, in my 2 cents, that most men are going to do one or two things. They're either A, going to bring food for all the kids, not every day. You asking way too much if you do that. Not every day. But they're going to bring food once or twice a week for all the kids. Or B, they'll grab their child, then go off in the cut somewhere, maybe spend a couple of blocks real quickly, and that's it. His son gets to eat his McDonald's, talk some shit with his pops, what have you. So I'm gonna leave it on that one real quick because the R. Kelly story is a little bit more juicier, but that story, in my opinion, is staged. I mean, in their defense, they went viral, they went what have you, but yeah, that story is staged. But second issue, your boy R. Kelly. He's done. I am not an R. Kelly apologist. I think he deserves to be in jail. He's done. But I have one issue. And that issue might turn into about 45 of them, depending on how you're looking at it. So, my issue is this. And I can promise you, where you think I'm going with this one, I'm not going with it. It has nothing to do with the girls he dealt with back in the day. It has nothing to do with who he was talking to back in high school. My issue is that they couldn't get him on state charges. And although I think he is guilty as hell, I think R. Kelly should have been in jail after he started fucking with Aaliyah. Although they couldn't get him on state charges, they threw these bogus federal charges of sex trafficking. Sex trafficking is such a vague word. It's a vague word. It's almost like if I live in Chicago, so if I took somebody from Chicago over to Gary, Indiana, which is 20, 25 miles away, give or take, and I did something sexual with them, that's sex trafficking. They never got him on the underage stuff. That's what most of us was looking for. He never got under that. That's not what R. Kelly is in jail for. He is in jail for sex trafficking. And it becomes a federal case. So let's backtrack. I hate federal cases. I'm not an anti-government dude, but I hate federal cases because their conviction rate is so high that it's ridiculous, and to a point where even if they mess up, who cares? So let's go back for a second. In the early 1920s, 1930s, your boy Al Capone, he did everything under the sun. Now, I know you're going to ask, what does Al Capone have to do with sex trafficking? I'm going to get to that in a second. So he had everything to do under the sun with the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, where he murdered 14 dudes. Well, at least he was the dude that ordered it type stuff. So, but they couldn't get him. They couldn't get him on bootlegging. They couldn't get him on prostitution. They couldn't get him on speakeasies. This is back in the days in Prohibition. If you don't know what Prohibition is, go ahead and look it up real quickly. So they couldn't get him on that one. At least the state. You know what they got him on? You know what they got him on? Tax evasion. That's what he was gotten on. Because at the end of the day, Elliot Ness, the FBI guy from back in that day, he wasn't the FBI, but the FBI guy from that day, at the end of the day, he could prove that Al Capone made money. That's what he could prove. That's what he could prove. But what he could not prove was the shit they really was going after him for was the murders, the prostitution, the drinking. And that's the same thing that happened with R. Kelly. They couldn't get him on a state level case of anything whatsoever. They brought him to trial, what have you. They couldn't get him. So let's go ahead and send you to a federal case because you brung some young woman. And the women that was in this case, I could be wrong, but the women that was in this case, they were not who we were looking for. We were looking for women or girls under the ages of 15, 16, even 17. That's not what they got them for. That's not what they got them for. Even though some of the victims were a part of that, they didn't get it from that. I'm not feeling the way the case went down, and that's my problem. I'm not an R. Kelly apologist. I am not. R. Kelly should have been in jail years ago. We had the Aaliyah Marion incident. Then it was a 2003-2004 time frame with Sparkle's niece. And then in the Chicago area where I'm from, we always was hearing stories about, okay, R. Kelly doing this, he doing that, what have you. So he should be in jail. I just don't like the why he's in jail, because he's not in jail what he should, at least most reasonable people think he should be convicted for. But here's the issue as far as talking about that reasonable type of shit. It's not about what I think you did. It's what about I think I can prove you did. And when you get to a federal case, it becomes more of a conspiracy. I think you did this. I think you did that. You got about 12 things. But I can't prove a single one. I can't prove not a one. So, but they threw your boy R. Kelly 30 years. So, last thing I'll say before I wrap it up. Of course, I knew the racial angle was going to come out, especially with this Elvis movie coming out. Him and Priscilla Presley, I think he started messing with her when she was like 14 or something like that. I don't know if they had sex, but that's what it all boils down to. So, anywho, two totally different cases. R. Kelly got years and years and years and years and years of this. He does. He got just years of messing with women. Girls. He should not be be messing with. They are underage. You know they're underage. You know the law. You just kept doing it. So R. Kelly definitely is where he deserves to be. I just have an issue with how he got there. That's my biggest issue with the whole case. So, anywho, these are my 2 cents. I'm not going to keep y'all too long. So, it's my 2 cents as always. If you liking, you feeling my opinions, do me a favor. Hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll holler at y'all later. Have a good night.